Tonight's lesson is on solving radical equations. So how do we plan to do that? If we go back to bare basics, remember that solving equations is the reverse of order of operations. So the first thing that you always want to do is addition and subtraction. Take care of those things that are added or subtracted and move them around. Then take care of your multiplication and division. Then take care of your exponents and square roots. Well, square roots are basically exponents. We learned that a couple nights ago. And then parentheses. Now you're going to see a little refinement of this process momentarily. But basically, these are the first three steps. Number one, get the radical alone, all by itself. So we're used to getting x alone. Now we need to get the radical alone. Square both sides, and that will eliminate the radical since it's an inverse operation. Then you're going to solve and check. It's important to check because this is kind of like when we did absolute value equations. If you don't check and you tell me that there's an answer and it doesn't check, that's actually an extraneous solution. Doesn't work. It's not a solution. So those are the first three steps I just gave you. And let's take a look at how this process works. And then I'll set you on your own and you can check answers later. So in the first case, the radical is alone. So I basically square both sides. And I get 3x, that eliminates the square root, equals 144, and x equals 48. Fine, right? And the square root of 3 times 48 is 144, which is 12, so it does check. Number two, get the square root alone. So see here, we're adding or subtracting first, so I add 7 to both sides, and I get the square root, of x equals 7. Square both sides, and I get x equals 49. The square root of 49 is 7. 7 minus 7 is 0, so it does check. Number three, the square root of x equals negative 13. Well, already we should have an idea that things are a little rotten in Denmark because that's not going to work. So, but if I go through the process, let's say I'm a little tired today and I don't even realize what I'm doing. X equals 169. Is the square root of 169 plus 13 equal to 0? It is not. They won't always be this straightforward as you see right there. So always check just to be sure. So this one we would actually say no solution. And that's basically it. That's the process. So I want to just take a look with you at number 6 just to show you that there really are a couple ways to do this. So as I said, the first thing you would do is add or subtract. So I'm going to subtract number 1, and that would give me 3 radical x equals 2. I can square both sides right there, but I'm going to caution you against doing that because I think that some of you might forget to square the 3. So we use our reverse operations, reverse order of operations here, and you would get radical x equals 2/3. That's fine. I can square 2/3. No biggie. Don't get scared off because it's a fraction. And I get x equals 4/9. So I want to check that. Well, the square root of 4/9 is 2/3 times 3 is going to give me 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm fine. All right. So you should be in pretty good shape here. I'm going to let you go ahead on your own and you can come back and check the answers, okay? Here we have the answers 4 through 9, although 9 was a repeat, so you didn't need to worry about that one. And the only one that had no solution was 7. I did show checks as you should show checks. There may be some situations, I know 7 was obvious. However, when you get a solution that is extraneous, it will not always be obvious. On the back, here are the solutions. 11's a little messy just because I had a different problem and I had changed it. 12, you actually don't even have to square both sides. So you might have been a little confused by that one, but if you just go ahead and put that x minus 9 over 1, you can cross multiply and a square root would just be eliminated. And the other two word problems were pretty straightforward. Okay? At this point, it's a good idea to take out your practice packets and turn to the page on radical equations. There are many problems here. Some of them you could probably skip, but I would do at least several of them to give yourself some practice. Maybe 5 or 6 on the front and more on the back, something like that. And we can go over any of those that you have questions on tomorrow. Have a great night.